What is up, L's and G's? It's WAN show time again. We've got a lot of great topics for you today, starting with that. That's right, it took me 12 long years to finally be right about this. The hard drive is officially dead. Dead and buried.
Sort of.
Completely dead.
Allegedly.
Also, what else are we going to talk about today? Oh, yes, we've got a big update for you guys on the community controversy that was caused by tech YouTuber Linus Tech Tip Sebastian doing a server build for one Dream, a game streamer who appears to have legions of whatever the opposite of a fan is.
Right. What?
Naffs.
Hate. Cool. Yeah. Are you ever gonna collab with someone who doesn't have a lot of controversies?
Maybe it's just kind of my jam.
Maybe it is.
What else are we talking about today?
There was a bunch of games that are announced, but they're not in the doc. We're gonna talk about why we do shorts, and we're gonna talk about the games. It's gonna be in there. We're gonna talk about it. Oh no. I don't need it. I don't need the notes, to be honest. Oh.
Opposite of fans, vacuum cleaners, suckers. The show is brought to you by Squarespace, Vulture, and XSplit. All right, let's jump right into our first topic of the day. Microsoft is flexing its industry-wide power muscles and trying to kill hard drives as boot devices by 2023. Apparently, they had already tried to pull this move in 2022, with the idea being that, come on, guys, at some point, we are going to have to design Windows to assume a solid-state drive rather than a hard drive, you know? And you think about how messy that transition was.
They should have just done it automatically with Windows 11, but sorry, keep going.
You think about how messy that transition was. I mean, for a long time, it was actually detrimental to the health of your computer to run a defragmentation operation on your boot drive if you had an SSD, because it would just completely unnecessarily wear out your NAND flash cells.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, Windows was hard drive first, hard drive only, really, and then SSDs came along, and the compatibility with SSDs was, in a sense, really kind of bolted on. I mean, especially in the early days of SATA, when we were using, AHCI, we were plugging into these like SATA 3 gigabit per second interfaces. We were not really getting the full capability out of that flash storage, not even close, right? And then over time, it's become kind of a pretty good bet that you're going to be running an SSD. But the problem is that many computer manufacturers are still out there trying to, it's not even a matter of saving a buck. That's the thing that drives me most crazy, is that you can get an SSD, a basic SSD, for cheaper than a basic hard drive.
Yeah.
But because
less total materials,
computer manufacturers are not willing to market their product, right? They just want a higher number so that whatever sticker is on the shelf helps shift more boxes without them having to educate the consumer. They've stuck with hard drives so that they can advertise a greater capacity of boot drive. And honestly, you can go back so far and find this behavior. Apple, credit to Apple. Apple moved the industry forward by offering the MacBook Air with only an SSD. Yes, the early MacBook Airs, which had 128 gigs, I believe, was the base capacity of the original MacBook Air.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough storage on them.
Honestly, the MacBook Air was such a boon for external storage devices. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was actually huge, but sorry, keep going.
And that aspect of it kind of sucked. But I remember, as an enthusiast and not really a Mac user, all right? I remember having one of the most frustrating interactions that I had ever had in my life. This was my uncle's business partner.
That's prime.
And they owned like a ski lodge thing together that I got to visit sometimes.
Okay.
And basically he was going on and on about how amazing the Mac was and how, and his proof that Mac was superior to PC was he opened it up. He's like, look how fast it is. Look at this. It resumes like instantly. And like you open up the Finder and it just pops up. And I'm sitting here going, that's just an SSD.
Yeah, you can do that on
just
other
the
things.
PC manufacturers don't have the stones. They don't have the foresight to go and put something good in the machine and then say, hey, this machine is really good. They would rather just install the cheapest possible components and get absolutely smoked in terms of real world usage, in terms of the user experience of sitting in front of this machine. It's like
that used to be an interesting thing too, because like back when I worked at Best Buy, people would come in and they'd be like, oh yeah, I want a MacBook. And I'd poke a little bit just to see why, because they would mention like, I'm coming from a Windows laptop, I want a MacBook. And I wouldn't say no, because hey, those MacBooks sold for a lot of dollars.
Get that commission, baby.
But there's no commission at Best Buy. But I would still ask, and they would often be coming from like a bottom bin Windows laptop, and they're like, yeah, it's slow and it sucked, so now I want to buy a MacBook for $2,500. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you met somewhere in the middle, you could solve a lot of those problems. Yeah,
you could pick up a decent Windows machine for $800, $900, $1,200, $1,300. Really nice machine for that much
money.
money.
Back then, $1,300 was like pretty excessive.
Then you could go to the store, buy an SSD, put it inside it.
Boom. Amazing.
You know, but the problem is that they, like I said, the root cause of the issue is that PC manufacturers weren't willing to do the work.
Totally.
They were afraid that if their machine, apparently I got it wrong, it was actually 64 gigs on the
I remember it being
MacBook Air.
brutally small.
And this was $1,000 plus machine, to be very clear.
Yeah.
But they weren't willing to put the work in. They weren't willing to message it. They were afraid that if they built something fast, something tuned for performance, something that truly was different, that they wouldn't sell as many, and that they would have to actually lift a finger to communicate about the benefits of solid state. And I mean, right now, you guys are probably listening to me talk about this going, well, Linus, obviously it's a little more complicated than that, because everyone knows that a solid state drive is way better than a hard drive.
Not back then.
But you got to understand, this was over 10 years ago, right? So let's go ahead. What's really cool about the internet is that on sites that just archive everything like YouTube, we can go back in time.
Okay.
And see what it was like back then.
Quick interjection.
Back then. Back then.
All the old WAN shows are corrupt.
Back then. I actually know that. I've seen a lot of people messaging me about that. The audio is still good.
That?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know if I care. I don't know if it matters. If I was smart, I would probably delete all the old WAN shows anyway, because people have been canceled for less.
The only reason why I do care is they get recommended a lot for some reason.
I can't explain. It's a pretty funny thing how many people have like ancient WAN shows sitting in their recommended.
Do you want to watch this random WAN show from like
green
2014?
And purple with corruption all over the screen? Yeah. I don't
stop recommending these broken videos.
I don't get it.
It's probably not good for like your channel stats, because people are clicking on a video and then going, "Oh, it's broken," and just leaving.
I don't know. It's probably just video by video. I'm not going to stress too much about it.
All right.
I do not know what is happening right now, but it doesn't matter.
Page renode.
All right, here we go. Check this out. So, see this? Okay, so this is a response to, remember when we could see like-dislike ratios? This is a response to people disliking this video. It was nothing but a helpful comparison video, right? Because this came 5 years later when everyone kind of had clued in. Okay, so here's a comment talking about the future. Great demo. I switched my tablet to an SSD. But this is exactly it. I was putting in the work to educate about it. I was like, look, yeah, it's a lot smaller. Okay, I get it. But trust me, there's a benefit. Okay, so let's find okay. But there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear around SSDs. Thing is, I have hard drives that have been spinning nonstop for over 10 years and have never failed. SSDs don't seem to last. Okay.
That was so back then there was a huge amount of education around, you talked about it, right? Don't defrag your SSD.
Yep.
There was a huge wave of education about how to not ruin your SSD.
Yep.
And people treated them like they were handling like glass.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, no one cares. They
Um,
just thrash them and they're like, whatever.
and-
But back then, they're very careful.
And people just like they didn't understand what the benefits were or weren't. Here's someone asking, does an SSD improve actual gameplay or just load times? No, it would have no way of improving gameplay except in edge cases like open world games like World of Warcraft. As you walked over a threshold, man, the difference between having a hard drive and loading in those fresh assets off of an SSD, night and day.
I was going to say, asset loading was actually a thing in regards to gameplay.
Night and day. Here's a big one, okay? Tarati says, for the price of an SSD, you can get a 2 terabyte hard drive. I think I'll deal with it being slower for the extra space. And that's fair enough.
Remember when that was huge? I remember when I saw my first ever 1 terabyte hard drive and I was like, whoa.
But there were also a lot
What's
of
a
comments.
terabyte?
There were a lot of comments like this that were far more aggressive, basically saying, it's stupid. And I'm having a hard time finding them right now because I guess YouTube does a better job of surfacing stuff that's not toxic these days. They're definitely here somewhere. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm aware of that.
So what you're saying is your claim is fake news, and everyone is actually very accurate in their comments.
No, I definitely
Darn.
remember it. I'm gonna have to find it. Why don't you go ahead and okay, one of the big ones was that the way people used to compare the speeds of these devices was in sequential read and write speeds. And yeah, compared to a hard drive, an SSD was only twice as fast in terms of sequential speeds, or 3 times as fast at best.
Bring that random in, dude.
But it was all about the responsiveness. And as soon as you actually sit down in front of a machine with an SSD, even back then, it was a night and day difference. I'm going to have to see what I can find here. All right, Luke, do you want to do another topic while I see if I can validate that my 12-year-old memory is actually right? Because apparently I just have no idea what I'm talking about.
Sure. There's a lot of these where I want to bounce off of you, like the Summer's Game Fest. I want to say some things.
Oh, I can respond to stuff. I just need to be able to.
Okay, Summer Game Fest.
I haven't seen anything about it, so I might not have much to contribute.
Personally, I don't think there was a huge amount of stuff that I was like super hyped for. Also, I saw some memes, some memes about how it was like Summer Leak Fest because like a huge amount of the stuff that was there I had already heard about.
Right.
Through like random various leaks. Modern Warfare 2 remaster or whatever it is, and it's coming to Steam. I didn't really care. Then I watched the gameplay video. It sounds really good. It looks really good. Interesting. Could be cool. Cuphead DLC thing finally coming. Kind of exciting. Cuphead's actually really sweet. There's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Really?
It actually looks awesome. I'm kind of excited for that. I think that just straight up means I'm a boomer, but I'm excited for it. I'm pretty sure it's called Shredder's Revenge. Let me look it up real quick. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Yeah. It's cool. Initial release date 2022. I don't think it's available yet. I think it's available like end of year.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember. There was a really funny interview. They're like remastering The Last of Us 1. Which feels interesting because it's like, I believe it released on PS4. Like, it's not even an old game. Maybe I could be wrong about that though. It doesn't seem that old.
I think
There's
it was
literally
about
only
10
number
years
2
ago.
is out. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The Last of Us 1.
Yeah, I think it was about 10 years ago, man.
2013. Woo! Okay, sounds good. Well, they're remastering that. And I guess the two main like voice actor people watched the trailer for the first time there.
Yeah.
And the interviewer goes like, "So, first time you've seen it, what'd you think?" And the person's like, yeah, first time we've seen it," and then stops talking, and the other one goes, and then it just goes back to the interviewer. It was so awkward. It actually looked really good. Like the remaster looks very good,
Was
like
this
very
just
high
one of those
quality.
things where they didn't know what they were and weren't allowed to say?
I think they were not like prepped for it, and it just ended up being really awkward. The the trailer was not a problem. There was nothing for them to like actually react that way to. Like it was completely fine. It's not one of those issues where they ask like the Star Wars actors what they think of The Last Jedi and they're all like cringing. Like it wasn't one of those.
Okay.
But it was still really funny to see. What else was there? I don't remember the name of the game, but there's effectively Dead Space 4 that I think a lot of people are really excited about. I didn't play Dead Space back in the day, so I'm not as hyped for it personally.
Right.
But everyone I've talked to about it that did play Dead Space back in the day is like, you have to play it because it's going to be amazing. So I'm pretty excited about that. There's another game. It's called Stormgate? Let me look it up. Stormgate. Yeah, Stormgate. A bunch of the old developers from like StarCraft split off.
Yes, I saw that. I did
made a
see
new
that.
studio. I was super hyped for this. I watched the cinematic. My hype has died down slightly.
Yeah, but come on, a cinematic. You can't judge a game based on a cinematic.
I agree, but the quality of the cinematic did not exactly seem high. That might be because I'm used to Blizzard stuff, and it was very Blizzard styled,
Right.
but it wasn't Blizzard quality. Cinematic quality, just be very clear. They're particularly good at cinematics. I just knocked the mics around. But yeah, it's an RTS, and it was like, an RTS cinematic where it has nothing to do with being an RTS.
Sure.
So it really, like, who knows? I'm still excited
Command and
about
Conquer says that cinematics have everything to do with being an RTS.
it. Dude, the Command and Conquer cinematics are on another level.
I'm just saying. That's
What is that? I'm going to go to the last place not corrupted by capitalism. Space! It's like the best thing ever. But yeah, I'm still excited for this. It's they're going to bring competitive scene to it, which is exciting because Blizzard just like completely abandoned the StarCraft competitive scene, even though it was one of the biggest esports of all time. They're just like, whatever, we're going to let that rot. We're going to actually like actively hamper
Diablo Immortal.
Yeah. By the way, I want to make that a thing. If you ever want to buy something really stupid, you're Diablo Immortaling it or DIing it for short.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that. It's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna try anyways. But yeah, they're also saying the first truly social RTS. This is the part that I'm particularly really excited for. There is a lot of different co-op modes. The campaign is able to be played co-op, which is very uncommon for RTS games.
Yeah.
There's also co-op versus AI modes that aren't just an AI that plays, as far as my understanding goes, it's not just an AI that plays like a standard player setup.
Right.
It's like you and your bros against this like monumental force. They don't just like, oh, they start with a base and some miners and they have to grow their thing. Like it's a massive battle that you have to wage, which is cool.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm still excited for it. Cinematic didn't exactly get me hyped, but I'm still excited for it. And there was a bunch of other stuff, but I don't remember all of it, and I don't think it's a super big deal because a lot of it was leaked anyways. And you can go watch the trailers if you're interested.
Here's my problem.
Okay.
I can find replies to people who are being super toxic about it, but I can't find any of the original comments because this is, I believe, pre-YouTube having nested comments. So it's impossible to track back a conversation thread. But I can find people replying.
You can see the evidence.
Yeah, but it seems like it's basically gone. So I don't think I've gaslit myself here. Okay, here's one, like a doubter. Can you prove the temps on the two PCs were the same though? I noticed in the beginning of the video the tower had its side panel on, which would give good airflow. Like basically saying, oh, this speed difference is impossible. It must be a disadvantage for
You're overheating
the hard drive. Here's another one. Okay, so here's someone replying to compared to the it's only 13 more seconds to wait for the hard drive to open MSN Messenger. That's not a long time to wait. Well, yeah, 13 seconds every single time you do anything is actually a long time. And then this one is a reply to...
Was that Jake Tivey? Did you get a beard?
Peter the Eater says, guess we have to agree to disagree. I cut my loading time from 53 to 32 seconds, switching from hard drives and RAID to a Micron SSD. I'd say that's a big difference. So this is clearly a reply to someone who's like, it's not a difference. So it's I can't find any of the original comments here, really. But yes, there was some super toxic stuff. Like here's someone replying to a doubter. It's not only boot time, the entire system is faster. That was a big perception. Was
huge
that
one.
SSDs only improved boot time. No, that was actually not the benefit. That was one of the big points of that video, was that this is not really the benefit. I mean, the Windows operating system itself is actually not big when you're booting it up, especially back then, like Windows XP, Windows Vista. They weren't huge. They didn't actually take a long time to boot, and Windows, or Microsoft rather, is really good at taking all of the OS files, putting them in one place, so that when you boot up, you are reading it all sequentially. Now, it shouldn't matter anymore. And once Microsoft can design an operating system around that not mattering, maybe they would take a different approach. Maybe they might not write it all sequentially. Not that you can write sequentially to an SSD anyway. The controller will just spread everything out however is most efficient in terms of wear leveling, so that it doesn't just kill this one like one NAND flash cell, and then the rest of them are all fine, all brand new, right? Oh. All right, what do we want to talk about next? Should I address the controversy?
Yep.
I don't know what it is. Okay, is it bad luck? Is it my complete inability to do any kind of due diligence?
Yes.
But I have managed to go, what am I, like 4 for 4, choosing extremely polarizing figures to do collab builds for. We got 2Mad, we got PewDiePie, we got Hasanabi, and then we got Dream. Am I missing any controversial figures?
At least I think what's kind of saving you a little bit is that due to your complete and utter lack of due diligence, like literally none done at all. Like, I don't know if you guys understand, but like the 2Mad collab, literally just someone tweeted him and it got a lot of interactions and he was like, I guess I'll give computer. There was no thought done. Okay, anyways. So, but I think what has saved you about that is that you've scattershot so wide that you're clearly not aligning with anything. So it's just like, oh, whatever, I guess. I don't know. I think that can be used in your defense.
Hold on. Someone adjusted this chair so it doesn't go back because they're a monster.
Oh, I do that all the time. Whoever did that, I'm with you. I got you.
Stupid.
Does this one go back?
Okay.
Oh, men of culture.
No, if you have to check if it goes back, then it's clearly not a problem for it to go back.
Well, I'm not sitting like that right now,
Well, what do
but
you
it's
mean
amazing.
sitting like that?
One
Sitting,
really
leaning
interesting
straight
thing.
up?
What do you mean?
Like, why would you lock it? What? How would you? Well,
Yeah,
you just,
sometimes I want to sit like this.
you just move backwards.
I don't want to sit further back than this. This is
Well,
exactly
then-
as much back as I want to
Then
sit.
don't use your muscles
Why?
because it's good for you. No, I hate it. Ah, yes.
Why do you want to be like that?
Well, because I want to. I
Why
don't know.
would
Maybe
you
I
ever
want
want to sit back like that?
to. Because I want to be comfortable. I don't know.
And like if I adjust in my chair, even if I'm not going all the way back, I don't want it to like flop over.
Well, it doesn't have to. You just use the core.
That has nothing to do with it.
Well,
Like if I'm scooting the chair around and moving the chair around, but not touching the back of the chair, I don't want it to rock backwards.
it wouldn't. Look, I can
It
scoot
totally
it around
can.
as much as I want. Well,
You're
why
very
would it?
small. I think this is just different.
All right, what are we talking about?
The Dream Machine.
Right. So, I was aware of one particular Dream controversy before we agreed to do a build. I knew there was
I think the whole internet was aware
a
of one.
Minecraft speedrun record thing. I will tell you what I knew before I agreed to do the build. I knew that he had misrepresented the mod status, I guess. It was like a mod that changes the RNG so that I thought there were two things was what I thought. I don't actually know what it ultimately was because I don't really care about Minecraft speedrunning. But my understanding was that there was like a perfect seed for there's like an ideal seed for the world that makes it easier. And then there was also some kind of mod that increased the likelihood of certain resources coming up. And both of which would obviously be fairly beneficial for a speed run.
Not allowed in speedrunning, but could be good for content creation for whatever reason.
Sure. then my understanding is he denied it and people were super mad. And then ultimately he came clean at some point. That was all I knew. As soon as we started teasing the dream build, by which time we had already like acquired hardware, we were not gonna not build it at that point. People pointed out their personal issues with us collaborating with Dream, and took and felt that he was not a figure that we would want to be associated with. So we can find some of these much larger threads on Reddit than I would have anticipated. This is actually not the biggest one, I don't think. Why is this thread locked? Okay, I gotta talk to the moderators over on the subreddit. We don't actually run the subreddit. One of our principles is that we don't we don't lock criticism of me or of LTT. Like if it turns into personal attacks or anything like that, then
is the criticism on there about Dream though? Because we have in the past protected criticism of other people and other creators, just not us.
Well,
that's how we do the forum.
Everything that I read here was pretty like objective. Oh, okay, never mind. There's a reason given. Locking because y'all can't behave. Okay, all right.
So
fair enough.
There might be a bunch of moderated comments you can't see.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so this was what ultimately spurred me to talk about it on the WAN show.
We've got Conrad in the chat saying it was pretty spicy.
Got it. Okay, because I didn't. I actually wasn't intending to address this on the WAN show at all, because from my point of view, yeah, it had more dislikes than a typical LTT video, but it actually wasn't that far off of. In fact, I think it has a better like dislike ratio than the 2 Mad collab. Like it wasn't even that crazy brutal or anything like that in terms of the like dislike ratio. Here, let's go find the 2 Mad one. I'll show you guys my dashboard here. Let's check out my dashboard. Like this ultimately generated net new subscribers, which is good. In terms of engagement, it generated... Oh, wow. Whoa! This one started out so bad in terms of like-dislike ratio, and then became almost channel average. That is crazy. Okay, this is so annoying. It used to be that you could just take a little bar down here and you could just drag a thing and you could select a new time period, so you could go look back at like the first week of it really easily. But now YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, has you key in values instead, because that's definitely faster. Thank you for this new, much better dashboard, YouTube, that I love so much. This is really fast. Cool. Appreciate you. Oh, okay. Wow. It really wasn't as bad as I remembered. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong date range. Man, either that or my memory is just absolute trash, and everything that oh my, okay. This drives me crazy. You guys saw what I did there. I typed a 1 when I had my cursor in the middle of the thing. Okay. What did I do? I can't remember what I did. The point is that was stupid. 2020. Okay. I hate this interface so much. It makes me not want to look at my stats. It's such a pain in the butt. You click on it, and you got to go, okay, 9, and then, I don't know, let's go 20. What was the first day like? Okay, let's look. Yeah, it was only 90. Yeah, it was 95%. That's actually not that bad. Okay, so that apparently was not nearly as bad as the Dream Machine. Let's bring up the Dream Machine. Okay, so here it is, guys. Net 500 subscribers. It's an interesting thing to see people speculate about how many people are going to unsubscribe because they did this or whatever else. Subscriptions are not really a measure of almost anything anymore. They've become almost irrelevant on the platform.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely good to have subscribers, but it's just one of many signals that Google takes. and then uses to recommend content to you. And recommendations are far and away the most important way that you get views on the platform. So having subscribers, yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's good to have positive signals where people demonstrate that they want to interact with your channel. But it is not what it used to be. But either ways, clearly there wasn't a mass exodus of people due to this video. And then in terms of like-dislike ratio, it's at about 90%, which is far from our worst. So about 7 more people out of 100 clicked dislike instead of like on this video. And then what was really interesting to me was the reason that most people who were upvoting this thought that I had done the video was for the money. His response will basically be dancing around the idea of we did it for the money. But like, that's actually not the reason at all. It was sponsored by Kioxia, but we could have sold them anything. We just were already doing it.
And a really standard content piece for a long time has been providing creators of servers.
Yeah, like I
Did
gotta
we start with the Sevidus collab? Was that the first one?
I believe that might have been the first one. Yeah.
And we've been kind of you have been kind of going for it.
Yeah,
ever
so
since.
we've collabed with Austin, Justine, Marquez, and then
Smarter Every Day.
Smarter Every Day. Yeah, we've done a fair number of these. And the funny thing about it is, I think as soon as we went outside of pure tech collaborations, I started to get messages from people who objected to us. Like I feel like maybe there's more of an emotional element to things outside of tech. Like the tech community overall seems to keep its nose pretty clean.
Very chill. Yeah.
Like
we've talked about this on WAN before, but there's very little drama amongst tech YouTubers, I find.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of got each other's back. It's generally pretty good.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say about it other than, hey, thank you for letting us know how you guys feel about it. I'm not going to give a take on it other than to just tell you guys the simple truth is that big creator asked for an intro through someone that I knew, needed a server setup that I knew we were qualified to help with in a way that I thought they were probably going to get pretty screwed if they went with a standard like networking contractor.
For sure.
I got not just for, well, okay, yes, for sure. For real, for sure.
I would
Dream definitely overpaid for aspects of this build out that we weren't involved in. But it was one of those things that I looked at and went we can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the parts that we're doing, I know he's getting a really great deal on because we got a lot of it provided. And even what wasn't provided was done through partners that we know are not going to overcharge for things. We know the setup is exactly what he asked for better or for worse. Is it overkill? Yes, but that was what he wanted. So fine. Okay. So that was ultimately why we did it. We did it because they reached out and we thought we could do a really great job of a sick content creation setup because we know our stuff. We've actually settled on a build very similar to what he has for ourselves. That was it. Riley and Anthony, though, both put in takes on this. So,
and interesting enough, there was one. I'll jump into that in a second. But someone pointed out that the like to dislike ratio on the Dream server on Floatplane was way worse than the like to dislike ratio of the Dream server on YouTube.
That is not unusual.
Yeah.
When we do something where the community, by and large, when we do something where it's a funny thing, the really dialed in viewers, who I feel have more of an emotional connection to our brand and to our personalities and to our content, tend to take it far more personally when we do something that disappoints them. And honestly,
makes sense.
It's really valuable.
Yeah, that too.
You guys are a huge part of the North Star that I think keeps us on the right course. And just because we weren't going to change the plan for this one after the initial tweet, like where the server was built on this one, doesn't mean that we're not taking that feedback really seriously, and we're not going to try to do better. That's ultimately really, really, really important to us, and will continue to be important to us as we build out labs and as we build out additional channels and as we continue to grow, because we're getting to the point where, man, like our corporate culture, what even is it? It's not just me and people I think are cool hanging out and making tech videos anymore. Like we're up to almost 80 people now, including Floatplane.
That's a lot.
Which I don't even interact with some of them on a weekly basis. I don't even interact with some of the people who work here on a monthly basis. And it's not because I'm just like hiding in my ivory tower, hiding in my corner office. I can't. If I talk to, here, let's bring up
Floatplane people have probably been a few years at this point.
Calculator. Here we go. Okay, so 80 people. If I talked to them for just 5 minutes each, that would be 400 minutes. Divide that by 60. I would spend an entire day a week just interacting with people for 5 minutes. And it's like, yes, that has a value, but it's also probably not the most important thing I could be doing when I could be shooting videos. Yeah. That's what we try to do, is we try to optimize how much time I'm in front of a camera shooting videos or working in pre-production, shaping what videos will look like, whether ultimately I host them or not. Right. So do you want to read Riley or Anthony's take?
I'll go with Riley.
Sure.
Should I go first?
Go for it.
Riley says, Dream seems like a young content creator who stumbled into a number of controversies by not doing due diligence. Weird. Interesting. Being kind of rude on Twitter. Whoa. I don't know anyone else like that. And buying/sharing accounts used by others who use them to post dumb things. I haven't heard of any of that, but I'm not up to date on the Dream stuff, to be very clear. He's consistently apologized and tried to make things right, but frankly, the dude probably needs to take a step back and reevaluate how he can be more responsible with his platform.
Anthony's take. I was personally aware of the speedrun cheating via Carl Jobst, but figured that was in the but that was in the past. It wasn't until the reaction to this video that I became aware of some of the things that Dream and his fan base have done. So I count awareness as a win, to be honest. We didn't glorify anything about him in the video, though we did make reference to the cheating. Oh yeah, I was going to mention that is something that we did, and that had nothing to do with the community's reaction to it. We were memeing. Like, what do you want?
The not glorifying thing has been consistent across a lot of these, which I will give props for.
I mean, with particularly the leftist PC, we were just having fun with it. I just went, man, let's build the reddest computer.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking a side as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about it. Is I guess that's a bit of a cop-out, because really the question people should ask and would ask, I think, is, would you do it again?
To be fair,
I think so.
I think that was asked with a few of them, and it's still happening. So yeah.
But what I think we should do is, at the very least, let the community know earlier in the process. Now, I don't think that we have ever collaborated with anyone who is just far and away just horrible and toxic. And we have turned down opportunities. We have turned down large content creators where we just went, I'm sorry, your compass is askew. We actually do not want there to be any perceived public alliance here. But I'm never going to take someone who made mistakes and crucify them for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Sam Hyde collab officially confirmed.
To be frank, though, one thing that I haven't done a ton of research into is the allegations that Dream has weaponized his fan base, because that's something that is not cool. But as someone who has been accused of doing that before, I know that it's not always
sus.
Black and white.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also seen other creators accused of that when it's like super obvious that isn't what happened. Like, their fan base might be doing something that's bad, right? But there's been situations where it's pretty obvious that the creator did not put them up to that. Now, creators' responsibility in that regard has kind of changed over the years, because now that people have witnessed this stuff happening a lot, I think a lot of people are going, oh, okay, I have to almost like actively tell people not to do this ahead of time.
Yeah.
Which was not something that I think creators knew back then. So now that's something that is like happening, which
Snizzard
is
over
good,
on
I guess.
Floatplane says, tweeting about how much he likes when people delete their Twitter accounts after he goes after them makes his apologies kind of hollow. I'd say that's pretty toxic.
That seems rough. A lot of stuff, I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know anything about it. There's a bunch of speedrunning stuff that I am into. I have never been interested in the Minecraft stuff. I got nothing against it. It's just not really for me.
Here's an interesting question, though. HQ216493 says, how scary is it that you'll probably lose sponsorships as testing and projects with the lab expands? It's not that scary. Most of our sponsorships are outside of tech hardware these days, and that's been something that we have very intentionally transitioned away from over the last really 5 years or so. In fact, I would say, okay, sponsors for the WAN show today. How many of them are tech hardware? We got Squarespace, we got Vulture, which is like a server hosting. Yep.
No
service, and we got XSplit software. Like
completely fine.
Everything is totally fine. If tomorrow we made every single tech hardware manufacturer mad, this WAN show would generate exactly the same amount of revenue for the company. Literally exactly the same amount. Maybe more, because you guys would probably, get in here and start buying some stuff on LTT Store, send some merch messages. Actually, I think we have an LTT Store promo that I should talk about.
We do.
Oh, okay. First, I have something controversial.
The first one of the show. What is it?
Tell me what you think of this.
So is this the shaft color change?
Yeah.
What color was it?
It was a dark nickel black coating.
So it was just darker.
Well, it was black.
Oh.
Yeah, the shaft was black.
Oh, I thought it was still silver.
No, it was black.
I don't know. Seems cool, considering I didn't realize it was different. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. What do you guys think? I think it would depend on the colorway of the rest of the screwdriver.
Well, that's it.
Oh.
You're holding it.
Well, no, but there's going to be different ones, right?
Well,
you've said that.
There's going to be an orange one with an orange ring here and an orange cap.
Okay.
There's nothing else that I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. I like it.
So the reason that there was so much discussion around this was that one of our goals for the screwdriver had been matte black, top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
Just something really sexy looking.
Yeah.
And we spent a ton of cycles trying to find...
I thought it looked good. I think this looks good. I think they both look good.
We wanted to try to find a material that would allow us to go... I mean, we even did these black coated tips and stuff, which by the way has an actual benefit. I think it hardens the tool steel more or something. Anyway,
cool.
The point is that we wanted an all black design, and this is what we have announced to the community is the black shaft. But what we found, and a lot of this is based on community feedback as well, is that we have seen significant wear on the ones that we've been daily driving internally as we've continued to test the product.
Oh, like the coating.
Yeah, the coating would chip off, especially working on things like computers, where you're likely to be screwing something in with a heatsink rubbing on it as you're screwing in.
And especially if you're moving quickly, you might bump the frame and stuff. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
We basically had to make a call. Do we want to build a product that looks amazing on day one and then looks beat up 6 months in? Or do we want to build a product that looks, in my personal opinion, not as good on day one, but have it look exactly as good in 6 months?
I'm pretty neutral about the color difference. I'm also actually pretty neutral about the wear, because sometimes with tools, I like showing yeah, this one's been through some stuff. But I don't think it should unnecessarily be that way. So I think I'd support the silver shaft. When are we going to see the screwdrivers?
Oh, crap. A lot of Floatplane chat is I want the wear one. Oh, balls.
If you check your laptops, you should have the newest newsletter, which goes through
Yes.
the actual changes,
Yeah,
the colors, and everything like that.
That actually fairly recently came in.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's here.
If you guys aren't subscribed to The Leak, which is the lttstore.com newsletter, you guys should definitely get on there. We don't send them out very often.
But this one is
LTT
good.
store team.
There's some personal writing from Kyle, who is our engineering manager that has a firm silver shaft.
Okay, that's a really awkward way of wording that.
That is good. But yeah,
Here are
shows
some of the
wear.
prototypes.
Yeah.
Showing kind of what they look like. It's not a really nice wear. I can tell you guys this one is mine. This has been the one I've been using for about the last 3 or 4 months.
So that's 3 or 4 months of wear. Should we so you can kind of extrapolate how much worse that's going to get over time. Should we do a poll, see what people think, or do you just not want to know?
Does the new polling system work?
Not yet.
Oh, all right. Well,
Sure. Do you want to do a normal one?
Do a poll anyway.
Okay.
Basically, okay. According to the newsletter, we've settled on silver, but now you guys are all going, I want it to be black. Guys, it really does not look that good once it's worn out. It's not that great. So this is the plan for the final driver.
It's just a different style, man.
Yeah.
It's just a different style.
And at the end it says, oh, by the way, buy a party shirt. They're freaking awesome. It's exactly the right season for the party shirt, by the way.
I should get a party shirt. There's been a few things that I've gone to where I'm like, I should wear a shirt like that, and I don't have one.
Yeah,
I should get one.
Party shirt's super awesome. Okay, well, get that poll going, I guess, and why don't I do a topic or something while we wait? Or why don't
Can you help me propagate the poll? I'm gonna post it in Floatplane chat.
Okay. One of our other big topics for the day is, of course, oh my goodness, Bill C11. Yeah, we missed that last week. Oh, Digital First Canada has a pretty good summary of it. For those of you who are not in Canada, this could still have an impact on you because essentially the Canadian government wants to step in and regulate online platforms like YouTube in the same way that they regulate traditional media. So that could include things like forcing a platform like YouTube to serve a certain percentage of types of content that the Canadian government deems Canadian or deems that Canadians must be exposed to through their recommendation engine. Essentially, what it's going to do, as far as I can tell, is clutter up your feed in a nutshell. And part of the whole push, and I haven't actually looked into C11 as much. I did a ton of reading about C10, which was the predecessor to C11 that didn't end up going through, including talking to the deputy whatever who was working on the legislation. And I got to tell you guys, essentially, as far as I could tell, it was a government cash grab so that they could take money from digital platforms and spend it funding content that no one wants to watch, and then jamming that content down your throat in order to justify the money that they took to produce that content. And it's such a last decade's, not even last decade, it's last century's solution today. Because it used to be that, yes, there were voices that couldn't be heard because of the structure of traditional media, because of the cost of creating traditional media. But YouTube already fixed that. Literally anyone with a $40 phone off of eBay can be a content creator now. That's it. The barrier to entry is basically zero. And so
there are massive creators that consistently get huge views and have massive audiences that exclusively film on iPhones.
Well, yeah, 100%.
There's one of them that they're this is not great, but their archive system is literally just when the iPhone fills, they just get another iPhone. Also, silver is winning, but is it close? And the votes are piling in pretty quick. So we'll see if it retains. It is not retaining. It is getting really close.
All right.
A lot of people
So
are saying I should have added a I don't care option, but I actually specifically want to see just the people that have opinions. So,
I should get back to why this matters to you if you don't happen to be Canadian. It is my personal belief that if the Canadian government manages to extract this funding from, platforms like YouTube or Netflix. Actually, I think Netflix does have Canadian content obligations already, but platforms like YouTube or Twitch, for example, if the Canadian government manages to extract this money, if they manage to push their agenda forward, whatever it happens to be, whether it's French language agenda or some other kind of agenda, I think it will embolden other world governments to pull similar moves. That's why I think this matters to everyone. Man, and there's just all kinds of, there's so many problems with this. This is, in order to qualify as a Canadian content creator, this is a really funny one. Creators have to submit a huge pile of forms to prove the nationalities of everyone involved in a project. They have to provide a detailed budget and an explanation of the project's theme and subject matter. Is your content Canadian enough to qualify for consideration by the CRTC? See, we've already dealt with the Canadian government because we've had to dig through all of this paperwork in order to qualify for production services tax credits. And they have so many other more important things to deal with. Basically, these tax credits are supposed to be to subsidize like new media, essentially, right? That's why they were created in the first place. But it is so onerous to actually go through the process of applying for and getting approved for them and actually receiving them that no new media startup can actually do it.
you can't afford to do it.
We were only able finally to afford to go through these processes a few years ago. And I can tell you even now, even today, I don't think we have our 2019, do we even have 2018 fully processed yet? I don't think so. I think 2017 was the first year, and then everything else is like still sitting in this.
You can't afford to do it until you've grown a lot, and then you're not going to see the benefits from it for years.
Potentially years.
So you have to sustain yourself through that whole thing. So it's really not helpful unless you're a large company.
Yes,
with big
pretty
money,
much.
which is what it always comes back to. And like, I mean, I brought this up. I think you did as well. And nope, there's like almost certainly nothing that's going to change to make it more attainable. So it is what it is.
On the other hand, Riley writes, local community-focused content has clearly taken a hit in the internet age. That's fair. I mean, one of our writers, Jonathan Horst for MAC Address, actually used to host for Shaw. I think you can still find these old videos. It was like a community channel that Shaw produced. Jonathan.
I will be honest, when I am on social platforms and I see things that are much more local and I can tell that platform is feeding me stuff that is local, I do like that.
Do you? I don't.
I will say I do like that.
I give 0 Fs about that.
I give Fs. Not a ton, but
okay.
They exist.
He didn't host this one, but here's an example of something that Jonathan Horst produced when he was working at Shaw. This is Shaw's Shaw Spotlight channel. My understanding is that this is part of Shaw's obligation. They have to produce this like small towny content. Shaw Community Link. Here are some mental health services that are available in Manitoba. This kind of stuff. 3-year-old in Mission is battling a disease. Like local news, local content. You're right, Riley. There's been a big hit to what really matters in your own community and having access to that information right in front of you compared to just more easily making your way to the lowest friction, most bombastic content on the internet.
Yeah, and I find if there's a news outlet that is hyper local, they are not always going to have just the most negative possible things to talk about.
Yeah.
So sometimes they will talk about positive things, but if you are completely global with your news, it's the thing that's going to trend to the top is just the worst possible thing at every point in time, and there's always going to be bad things going on. So it's just negative all the time. And if you look at hyper local stuff, you see some like good news things, which is kind of nice to hold back the brain rot. This is one of the closest polls we've ever had.
Hold on, we'll talk about the poll in a sec.
Okay.
Riley also writes, YouTube's algorithm, as far as we can tell, I mean, it's a black box, so I don't know, but doesn't appear to be designed to consider locally made content over any other kind of content. He says maybe that's something that should be changed. But I can tell you, as a Canadian content creator, I don't want my content served preferentially to Canadians. And I don't want Americans to not have access to my content because what? I happen to live, 40 kilometers? Sorry, excuse me, 25 miles from...
I think it's a content difference.
From a border, from an arbitrary line that some people with, presumably big wigs or whatever drew on a map 200 and however many years ago. Like, how arbitrary is that in the global era? Like,
I think it's a content difference. Like if there's a channel on YouTube that did like news in the Lower Mainland, why would someone from Utah care about that?
Sure,
but I think it would be kind of neat to see myself. So I would like it to expose me to that. I don't think it should be applied to everything.
Then
I don't
go on
think the approach.
r/Vancouver. Like, there's already solutions to this.
That's not YouTube.
Well, yeah, but who cares? People will surface stuff, and you can go find it there. Like, it's crowdsourced.
Not really how that works.
What do you mean that's not how that works? That's literally how r/Vancouver works.
You're not allowed to
It's full of local
self-promote
stuff.
on r/Vancouver.
No. If it's good, someone else will find it and put it there. Then you don't have to look at anything that's garbage.
Don't want to hang out on Reddit. It's not really what I feel like doing.
I mean, you don't have to hang out on Reddit. You can just go look at it once in a while.
I find local news when I need to. I'm just saying I would like to see this stuff on YouTube. And I don't think it should be a ham-fisted approach to everyone, and I don't think the bill is good. Like I said, I don't think your stuff should be localized. That doesn't make any sense. You're not making content local to Canadians. There is no value in that. The majority of stuff I watch on YouTube, there's this Australian channel that I've been looking into recently called I Did a Thing.
Right.
Hilarious videos. I don't need to be an Australian to enjoy these videos.
Okay.
There's no value in that. That does not need to be localized at all. But it would be kind of cool if maybe like creators had some amount of control. Like, is my content more localized? Because maybe you don't want your stuff showing up in recommendations to someone when yours is like hyper localized news. Mm-hmm. I don't want it showing up to someone in Australia when my news is hyper localized to the Lower Mainland. They're not going to like it. They're going to click off quickly. That's going to hurt my channel metrics. I just want it going to people that might actually care. That could be an interesting option.
I mean, that's something I've asked YouTube for many times. The problem is that as soon as they provide tools like you're asking for to creators, they game them. That's why keywords, that's why tags don't do anything anymore.
That's fair enough.
Because everyone just loaded up with whatever the highest performing tags were.
Oh, so you just go to like, you say it's hyper localized to some area. Yeah. Yeah, that's garbo.
So it's just, and like I've told YouTube things too, like, hey, I think this one is going to really appeal to, like, could I have a tool where I say, hey, I think this is really going to appeal to like these groups or this or whatever else. Like, can I give the algorithm some hints? And they're like, no, because as soon as we let you do that,
people will ruin it.
Then you'll abuse it, and then the signal will be meaningless, and we might as well have just not bothered.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So the problem, in a nutshell, is that C11 is a super ham-fisted attempt to solve a problem that, frankly, I don't think most people care about. And if they did care about it,
there are solutions. This should not be solved this way at all, if it's even solved at all. And to be completely honest, YouTube does some amount of it already. Like if you scroll down a little bit on the main page, you can get down to like Canadian news stuff. It shows up.
Zelnor on Floatplane says, JJ McCullough did a video about him actually going and talking to the politicians in charge of C11, and it was not great. I mean, I can tell you guys from my conversation, basically it started out as, no, this is really about empowering smaller creators, and ended with, well, what about funding content that nobody's going to watch, in a nutshell. And I was like, okay, but why if no one's going to watch it, why did we make it?
Yeah.
If it's going to get literally 30 views, Why did you even do it? Why not just make an ad for whatever it is that you wanted to say and just run it on YouTube then? Like, it would have been way more efficient. And
if it's about like Canadian history or something like that, like there has been better ways to do that have been done. What was that, like Canadian history moments or something that used to show up on TV? I don't remember what it was. And there's history channels on YouTube that talk about things that are like not the most riveting ever. But they do it in ways that are very engaging. There's a 2-vote gap in the poll.
Let's have a look. I think we're being trolled right now. In a nutshell.
It's been really close the whole time.
Okay. Should we open this up to the broader community?
It has been. So
It has
Silver
been.
was ahead, and then we
Yeah.
sent it to Twitch and YouTube, and it started 50-50ing. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a campaign or not.
So Silver was ahead on Floatplane.
Okay. Well, all right then. I guess we're gonna have to figure out what to do about that. Guys, I think this is gonna be one of those white mouse pad things where we've had so many requests for it, and I've basically said no. You're not allowed to have a white mouse pad because
Silver's completely fine.
you're gonna ruin it anyway. It's gonna end up in a landfill.
I don't think the shaft being black or silver is going to change the purchasing decision for practically anyone.
Okay.
I think your thing long term, I think you will probably save yourself customer support requests and other heartaches by going silver.
Oh, by the way,
I would throw that in the ring.
speaking of heartaches, my heartaches are over. This is the final ratchet.
So are we producing?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a hammer.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not a
Good.
coal bar or whatever. One of the most
It feels
remarkable
nice.
things
I really like the ratchet.
about it is the very small amount of force required for the ratchet to activate. And what I did today to test it, I shot an Intel Extreme Tech upgrade for Ploof today, was I put a thumb screw on the tip of the screwdriver, taking advantage of that strong magnet. I put it into the case in a GPU, and then without using the knurling to started it.
Oh,
And it did.
that's pretty cool.
It's like basically like nothing.
So
Turn
there's
that
been
ratchet.
there's been some comments in Floatplane chat where
Yeah.
people have been like, "I'm with Luke. I like well-worn stuff." You'll still see some wear.
Oh yeah, it'll still show wear.
You'll
It
still
just-
see wear on the
it
silver
won't
shaft.
flake off. That's the difference.
And honestly, like the people that don't like that are going to dislike that more
Mm-hmm.
than you would like seeing wear on the other one. So I'm honestly leaning more silver now. I just personally I would be happy with either, is I think what I was trying to say earlier.
Sure.
And there are things that I like about one, and there's more things that I like about the other, and it's just kind of whatever. But I think ultimately the more correct choice for a product that you're going to sell would be the silver one. I think that makes sense.
We should do some merch messages.
Make it Cerakote instead. What is that?
Oh, someone asked about like powder coating. Definitely
Oh.
not. Okay, one of the problems with doing any kinds of different finishes on here is that this shaft has extremely tight tolerances because it has to be fitted into
Yeah,
the
so
zinc
there's
housing.
probably going to end up being like a gap in the...
We literally have to redesign the zinc housing a little bit to accommodate the we have to change the size of the shaft because I think it's like 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch that the plating added
Oh.
mean that the fit is not quite
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah,
But that's done?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's easy.
Okay.
That is easy. What was hard was the issue we were having with the selector ring. So the ratchet worked great, except if you accidentally bumped the selector ring, which is here, then what it would do is it would slip. It would slip either out of a lock into ratcheting, or it would slip into a locked position if you accidentally bumped it. Now you can obviously hit it hard enough to move it as it is, but it was incidental contact, and there was a reason for it that is hyper technical, and maybe we'll bring Kyle on the WAN show or something, or when we do the video to announce the launch of this thing, maybe we'll get into more detail on it.
Yeah.
But it
sweet.
was an absolute nightmare to get it fixed, and it is now completely fixed. It's final. It's done. It stays in place, and I am so excited because, guys, we have ordered every screwdriver you guys have posted comments about in our videos saying that they're better. They're not. We've ordered every single one.
Are you still doing that, like, that event?
Okay, I guess we are not going to do the thing I said we were going to do because we are going to talk about the pop-up shop.
Oh, okay.
It's happening. It looks like it's going to be at Lab 2. The reason for that is Lab 2, like I said, is not nearly as move-in ready as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So what better thing to do with it than host a pop-up shop where people can come and try the screwdrivers. We are also trying to get a handful of top of production backpacks there as well.
Ooh, that'd be cool. That's a good idea.
The
That'd be cool.
backpack is also in mass production now.
Hey!
Finally.
All right, we got some good news.
Finally.
Good store news.
Yes.
Let's go.
Finally good news. And what's cool is if we can manage to get even a few hundred backpacks there, then I will guilt-free open up back orders for it so we can address some of the cash flow challenges that we are having right now.
Yeah, because as long as genuine customers have given genuine hands-on feedback, then stuff like back orders aren't as big of a deal. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna send this Cerakote idea to Kyle right now, but I can tell you guys now, if there's any amount of complexity involved in making that happen, we are not looking for new we're not looking for new solutions to try to
I don't think it sounds cool, but at this point, like, I think we just need to get the screwdrivers out. Idea for the pop-up shop. Putting a bunch of random people on a live stream can be very problematic.
Yes.
And has been very problematic in the past. So I don't think we should do that, except maybe exclusively on Floatplane, so we have more easy control of it.
Oh, interesting.
Because
so you want
if
to
you
do a stream at the pop-up shop.
So the reason why is because I just brought up the, like, genuine reactions from genuine customers, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're going to probably end up making, like, a video about it or something. I don't know. So there would be editing involved. So we could be like, no, this is how they reacted.
Oh, that's kind of a cool idea.
This was it. This was the uncut VOD live. This is people trying the screwdrivers genuinely for the first time. No editing.
Raw AF. I kind of like it, actually. Yeah, I like it.
I think it's cool. But I think it's a little risky to throw that on, like, YouTube.
Yeah.
Because, again, throwing random people on a live stream on your platform on an open channel has been problematic in the past.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to just pump my own platform, but it like has been a problem.
Okay. I will tentatively say, yeah, we should do that. We should have fast internet there by then. Because this is other big news around Lab 2. Check out this. Community LAN. We've already, we're brainstorming names.
Oh boy.
We're brainstorming ideas. Chase figures we can get 200 seats in there while still having space for other activities.
Okay. I was going to say, you can do a lot more than that, but okay.
We could do more than 200, but he wants to add projectors with party games. I don't know about the renting arcade machines thing. We should definitely do food trucks in the parking lot, though. Maybe some sponsors. Maybe we could, like, make some money on that empty freaking built thing. He had the idea of bringing in portable mini golf, but not in the warehouse, in the office area. So you're literally playing mini golf in what will be the lab's office.
You should have like the stairs be involved because it's mini golf, so who cares?
And this is what it'll look like.
That might screw the walls up, actually.
Theoretically.
Cool.
So that's 200 seats.
How are you guys going to do parking?
VIP. Basically, I think we're just going to say it's public transit only. There is no parking. Do not park here.
And it's bring your own computer? Public transit only?
Ooh, that's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah.
I guess people will have to be dedicated.
I mean, I've done it.
Or get dropped off. Like
other people have done it.
Look,
it's doable.
I'm sorry.
Get her done.
And the reality of it is we'll say there's no parking, and people will find parking. They'll
find grassy knolls.
They'll find parking 5 blocks away, and they'll drop off their stuff, and then they'll go park, and then they'll go walk back. Like, we're just gonna say there's no parking because we don't.
I mean, there isn't enough parking for
Yes.
that many people. So
We're
like,
gonna make the parking lot will be food trucks and staff only.
cool.
Because I'd like as many of our staff as we can to be able to come and hang out with people there.
Yeah.
But the idea is projectors here, maybe some sponsor booths, maybe try and make some money. Chase has got porta potties in here, but frankly, I think at that point you might as well just use the regular bathrooms and then hire a cleaning crew for the cost of porta potties, right? Hire a cleaning crew to just come in and clean them after.
Yeah, because you're gonna want to do that.
Yeah. No, yeah, well, definitely. No offense, gamers, but
A little bit of offense, gamers.
yeah. You gotta do some more. What aim labs? His idea was
Oh
to
my
do
goodness.
mini golf in the office area, which I actually think is hilarious.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
that
cool.
we would actually do that, but
Yeah.
and because this is our own venue, I would like to think that we could do it as an overnight event without too much hassle and have some fun.
Because what is the standard? Because that is an issue at venues, but what is this reason why?
Insurance.
Okay.
So one of the things we do want to do is just because any event this large, you should just have a paramedic and a couple of cops on site just in case anything stupid happens. So we would do that. And at that point, I'm not super worried about liability. We're talking a bunch of sweaty nerds sitting and playing video games. I don't think someone could have a heart attack. Okay, we had a paramedic on site. Like, what do you want? What else could we have possibly done?
I think you'd sort of have to say that people can't sleep there.
Yeah, we'll probably say that,
Yeah.
and people will.
And someone's gonna fall asleep in their chair, and
And worst case scenario, we go be like, yeah, you can't sleep here. You're gonna have to go sleep somewhere else and come back. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited. I'm super excited. I wanna do it.
ball pit, dude. I
Ball pit.
love the ball pit reference, but even when we did it at like that first LTX,
Yeah,
so few people understood the ball pit reference.
yeah.
And like it's a funny chuckle as you walk in, and then it's like a big area that no one cares about, and you paid for it to be there, and it's just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
So yes, haha, ball pit,
But no.
but no.
Pretty exciting though, right?
Yes, that's really cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we've come up
Good way to
with
break it in.
Yeah, we've come up with the idea of doing a pop-up shop there, and we've come up with the idea of doing a LAN party there. So at least we're going to try and get some use out of it. I mean, it's got 300,000 watts of power. So I looked at that and I went, well, let's do something with
The
it.
Rammstein concert. But yeah, that'll be sweet. Good way to use it as like an event space while still getting it prepped up.
I can tell you right now, some of Chase's ideas are things that I'm not that into. Some of them, though, are things I am super into. We definitely want to have like local servers there for games that still support local servers.
Yeah.
We definitely want to have a Steam cache there so people can get all the games they need. I think that'd be good content. Just like an updated Steam cache. How fast can we download from Steam? Would be a super cool video. Like we could just say like, hey, okay, everyone ready? Let's go. Let's all download the same game and like see how hard we could hit a Steam cache server. Be freaking awesome. Because it's the kind of thing that when it comes to real world testing of these solutions, it's difficult. It's a hassle. It's like impossible for us to do it on our own. We can't build 200 machines to test our Steam cache server when we do a video about it. We can maybe hook a few of them up to it and go, yeah, and theoretically it could go as high as this. But if we want to actually show this thing serving games at 10 gigabytes a second, well, we gotta get a few hundred people together and like download some freaking games.
Yeah, be sick.
Scheduled games and small tournaments throughout the LAN, absolutely going to be a thing. I mean, I might just have a section that's just like, yeah, we're only playing the game I want to play, and if you don't like it, you can leave. You down? You in?
I am down.
All
I'm
right.
actually 100% down with that. Sorry, I was dealing with something, but that is honestly, and we've talked about this on WAN before, but like, internet being really good hurt LANs a lot, because LANs used to be, you show up, you put your computer down, it's actually a LAN. It's not really a WAN. People like sneaker share games around a fair amount. It's handled, it's fine. People sneaker share games around and stuff, and then there's nothing else to do, so you game. But now a lot of people will use the fact that there's like the stupid things they do at home, like just sitting on Reddit or doing whatever,
Yeah.
to avoid the more complicated interactions of social interaction and whatever else. So they'll just sit there and just browse Reddit at
Let's
a LAN.
black hole Reddit
Yeah, do it.
and Twitter,
And
everything.
Facebook and whatever.
Yeah.
Just you're here to game.
Every time we see someone doing something
You're here to
other than
game.
gaming,
Yeah.
we're just gonna black hole it
Yeah.
immediately.
You should black hole everything on YouTube except for your channel. Is that if you're gonna watch YouTube, you gotta watch a lot of tech tips. But yeah, like you're going to a LAN, you're doing all this stuff. Like show up in game
Yeah.
and play the games that other people are playing. Like
And if you don't want to, fine.
yeah,
Don't come.
don't show up.
Save your money.
Yes, 100%. I'm not saying you're like a bad person because you don't want to play whatever games we
Yeah.
put on the games list,
Totally.
but like,
Not everyone's comfortable with social interaction and all that kind of stuff, but like
and that's totally chill.
that's totally fine.
That's what the event is.
But we should at least have, I think we should at least have a section that's like no, we are gaming with the people here. And if you don't like it, go find other people here. Go find ones you like, because that's the whole point. Is
that could be kind of
connecting.
cool. So that's what kind of the whole LAN is like, but there's different like kind of themes.
Yeah.
That could be pretty sweet.
Oh man, you know what would be kind
Because
of
some people
cool?
might just like hate shooters but want to be at a LAN.
Yeah, wait. What if we made the tables like all the power and all the networking per table like just goes into one place in the middle of the table, and then like just the connections to the table locations are
Or,
just
like,
one.
quick, and then
Yeah,
you can,
like a single 10 gig
wheel
and a
them
single
around?
big power connection, and then you could actually like relocate really easily and quickly.
That'd be so cool.
So for like tournaments and stuff, you could actually
You
like
could like wheel your whole table to
Yeah,
this new like
you get like 6 people around the outside of the table. You move. You literally plonk down next to the team you're playing.
what's up,
Man,
guys?
I'd love that.
That'd
or
be
like
so sick.
you go, okay, everyone find a team for Worms Armageddon tournament. Go. By the way, you will actually move and sit with your team.
So what
I might
and
be
this
down.
this might not be better, to be clear, but just to throw some input.
Yeah.
What the PAX LAN used to do for this, when the PAX LAN was actually like really cool.
Yeah.
It's not that cool anymore. But when it was really cool, there was the bring your own computer section. There was the not bring your own computer section, which I don't think we're doing, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And then there was the tournament area. The tournament area was a set of tournament computers that were there by default ahead of time that we might be able to do with those.
Yeah.
And then if you were to join one of the official big time main tournaments that they were going to like put on the big
Yeah.
screens and stuff, you would just go to the tournament area. And so the team would be sitting across from you every single time, no matter what, without moving the tables and stuff.
Yeah, we could figure that out.
That might be a decent idea.
I'm super down. We
Yeah.
definitely, people are like, sounds like a waste of time for moving. Okay, you're at a LAN party.
That type of
You are
stuff's-
literally paying to waste your time.
yeah. And that type of stuff's fun.
That's what it is.
yeah.
That's what it is.
yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna figure it out. I think the actually like relocating for everything is probably not the smartest thing ever, but we could definitely have some extra tables set up, like you said, for main stage matches.
And you
or
can
whatever
also
else.
do like, okay, so we're starting whatever Worms tournament. It's starting with way too many people to have them at the tournament tables.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
cool. But once we get down to like the final
Quarterfinals.
rounds, then they move to the tournament
Yeah.
tables. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be super awesome. Man, I'm like so stoked.
That's exciting.
I almost feel like we
It's
should
really
do
cool.
like a small one as a warm up, just with like staff and friends or something like that. Just kind of work out some of the kinks, figure out what we want to do in terms of like programming.
Yeah.
Not like hacking the mainframe programming, but like event programming, if you know what I mean.
I could probably round out some peeps. Or good old LAN.
Whoa. Stop.
Stopping.
Far now over in Floatplane chat says, okay, but what about 200 gamers, one CPU?
Okay. So now instead of a LAN, it's a content generation piece.
Look, can I help being a businessman?
No, it's good. We want that. That's good.
Oh man,
Awesome.
I kind of love it. People are like, is this a mini LTX or something? No, it's not LTX. It's just a LAN party. It is
Yeah.
not going to be branded LTX. I actually
There's lots of LANs that have small little expo booths and sponsor booths and stuff. That's not weird.
Yeah, it's
That's
just to make
normal.
it's helped make it sustainable. Like
It's kind of the other way around from LTX. LTX was a massive expo with a LAN there that was kind of awesome because it was hosted by DreamHack. This is a big LAN with maybe a little bit of sponsor expo there. Having a little bit of sponsor expo is pretty sweet because honestly, something that's going to happen at LANs is people are going to have problems with their computers. And it's pretty common for the companies that show up to Expo to have some stuff for sale or have some stuff for giveaway. And sometimes people will be like, oh man, like my keyboard broke when I drove it here. I need a new keyboard. And maybe there's like, just to throw a random name out there, Corsair. Corsair has a booth. They have some keyboards for sale. You can get a keyboard on the spot and keep gaming. I think that's cool. I've always liked having like at least a little bit of sponsor boosts there personally.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. We should probably just try to make sure that like Memex is a sponsor or something.
Yeah.
Canada Computers.
Just like have some stuff there. Have some emergency fix things.
And have your warehouse, like whoever's manning the booth, make sure they have keys to the store so they can like go get stuff. If you have a GPU die, 3 hours into a LAN, that sucks. And the odds are greater than you might think because it's just been transported, right? Which adds wear to it, wear to the connectors, like all kinds of things. You don't think about what vibration does to things, right? Carting stuff around can be really hard on it.
Yeah.
You're definitely using it. Maybe the power's not as clean as you would normally have because you've got 200 people connected to like one freaking transformer. Like there's a lot of variables here, right? And stuff can die. And when you've got these kinds of numbers of people, right, 200 people, if only 1% of people's computers had some kind of a problem, well, that's two people that just have no computer now.
And
that sucks.
You don't want that to happen.
I mean, what we could also do is make sure that we've got a couple of completed machines that we could scavenge from if need be. Maybe we could just lean on the LMG
You do have
stores.
to be somewhat concerned about those things not coming back. I've always kind of. That's fair enough.
Like we're gonna have the means to take money from people because we'll be selling merch. So
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I know like when there's like those sponsor boost things and they're selling stuff, it's still cool. Usually they don't mark it up. Sometimes it's even discounted. But even if it's not discounted, like as long as it's not marked up for the LAN, then it's not a feels bad. If your card or keyboard died or whatever, well, it died. It was going to die at home, maybe. I mean, the vibration thing, maybe not. But like you need to buy a new one anyways. You're not just going to get a free one that costs more than your ticket to the LAN just because you happen to be at the LAN.
Bent Bob says over on Floatplane chat, I once attended a LAN party in a horse shed. The power was probably not great.
That's awesome, though. That's cool.
You know what else is awesome? Our sponsors.
Yeah.
Hey. Running your own business can be hard, but making sure your website looks great doesn't have to be. And that's where Squarespace comes in. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that makes it easy to get your website up and running quickly. You can grow your business online through their marketing features, including SEO support, email campaigns, and social tools, and they have a wide selection of award-winning mobile-optimized templates, and their commerce platform comes with everything you need from merchandising to checkout. Plus, if you need help, Squarespace offers webinars, guides, and they have a 24/7 support team that is there to help you. We love Squarespace so much, we even use it for LinusMediaGroup.com. Oh, did we remove LTXExpo.com from the talking points? LTX is coming back, I swear to you, and it will be coming to you via Squarespace. So go to squarespace.com/WAN and you can get 10% off today. The show is also brought to you by Vultr. Vultr offers high performance and easy to deploy cloud servers, bare metal, storage, and managed Kubernetes. You can deploy instances with your preferred OS through 12 pre-selected operating systems and bring your own ISO. And their networking features are optimized for multi-cloud deployments thanks to VPC peering and direct connect. With 25 server locations worldwide, like their new Mumbai location, you can spin up a low latency infrastructure solution for your clients wherever they are. Vultr's marketplace also offers one-click installation of more than 50 applications and operating systems, including game servers, VoIP platforms, content management systems, and cPanel. Plus, you can create a fully managed Kubernetes cluster from almost every one of their server locations in minutes with their Kubernetes engine. Right now, you can get a 30-day $100 code for new signups. Just go to getvultr.com/LTT. That's get, VULTR, spelled like that, VULTR.com/LTT. Finally, the show is brought to you by XSplit. XSplit is a trusted live streaming and recording software that's designed for gaming, presentations, and live events. It offers useful features like XSplit Broadcaster, an all-in-one streaming and recording solution designed for content creation, as well as their Connect webcam, which turns your smartphone into a webcam, Presenter, which lets you add personality, flair, and interactivity to your presentations, Capture, which lets you capture images and record your screen so you can add annotations, a voiceover, and share as a link in seconds, and VCam, which is a fantastic virtual background tool for webcams. If you use code Linus at the link down below, you can save 10% today, so go and check them out. How do I change this now? Oh, wide cam. There we go. Very nice.
Someone asked, is the AC going to be functional?
No.
Yeah, I
Very
told them
unlikely.
there's a few ceiling fans.
The AC for Lab 2 is going to cost probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 to $200,000. So I need to sell screwdrivers, backpacks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Is it okay? So, question: is it expensive in any particular way because of the lab? No, it's just AC is just expensive.
Really, really expensive. We've had a couple of heat wavy summers here in Lower Mainland, and I think there's been a little bit of profiteering by the handful of HVAC contractors in our area because traditionally we haven't really needed it. And so it's not a really well-established industry here in the way that it might be somewhere like Austin, Texas. To be clear, I'm not saying we don't have HVAC companies. We do. We have air conditioning. It's just that our capacity for it is a little lower. It's kind of like how, remember how maybe like starting 3, 4, 5 years ago, we started getting like regularly these giant dumps of snow, and it had been like 10 years. We ran out of salt because we have salt trucks and like salt repositories, but we just weren't prepared for that amount of snow for that extended a period of time. We didn't have the infrastructure for it. So it's the same way where all of a sudden everyone and their dog is going, oh, wow, it gets really hot here now. I guess I'll install AC. So supply and demand, baby.
Yep.
We got a quote for $100,000 for a Creator Warehouse. That tiny unit. Yeah. Basically, I off. Because that's ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
They wanted to put inducted air conditioning there. And I'm sitting here going, this has already got a completed tenant improvement with 4 discrete zones. What are you going to do? You're going to punch through gigantic holes in this building and run metal ducting? Are you an idiot? So I don't even think we went back to that contractor for a second quote because
their suggestion was just so concerning. You just don't want to work with them anymore.
Well, why would I?
I've had experiences like that.
Because if they weren't complete idiots or trying to take advantage of me, not knowing better, they would have quoted mini splits.
Yeah.
They're tiny areas. They're only 1,000 square feet each.
I was going to say, like, if you wanted a really rough solution, you could have gotten those, like, rolling ACs from Costco and cooled that place.
We could have cooled it with that for a couple grand.
It's a small place, and it's very zoned out. It does not need, like, we got a new quote with mini splits, and I think it was, like, $0.25, which is too much. But the mini splits is the nice solution.
I'm not going to do it myself. Well, mini splits are a cheap solution. Because instead of making space for giant air ducts, you just have to make space for refrigerant lines up to the roof. Yeah. You put your outside unit up there, and then you just mount the thing to the wall, and boom, you're air conditioned.
Yeah.
So
I was saying it's a nice solution compared to my like whole bunch of random wheelie Costco ones.
Laddie says
not a nice solution.
A ground source heat pump could be very interesting too as a content piece if you could get details on them doing it. I had a cool idea. We were at Brandon's house when I was talking to him about him? I don't know. Anyway, yes, we were. We were doing Brandon's Intel Extreme Tech upgrade, and he was upset because his Strata Council, which is a homeowners association for our American friends, won't allow window-mounted AC units in his complex. And he was like, well, that sucks because they're way more efficient than the floor standing ones. Also, they don't take up space on your freaking floor.
Yeah.
They're just objectively better. But they don't look nice.
Yeah.
Right?
If you have a window to put it in, yeah.
And so I was telling Brandon, I was like, hey, with the way that your unit is situated, could we conceivably just stealth an outdoor unit by, instead of having condenser, like a big condenser and a fan, right? Just burying like a geothermal loop in your lawn and then having some like very small stealthed compressor and like whatever, an expansion. I think the expansion chamber and the compressor still have to sit in an outdoor unit. Like, would anybody ever go on that side of your house?
You could even have like you could have like some real plants and then one large fake bush.
Yeah.
And hopefully it looks real and just like put it in the bush.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want it to be a real plant because it'll kill it. But like, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, we called BC One Call, and it turns out that you can't just like get information about exactly where everything is in the
I
ground.
thought that was the whole point.
I know. So I think, well, the point is for contractors who have experience digging properly and know how to avoid things, for them to get a general idea. But for just some idiot wanting to dig a giant hole in their yard, no, they're not really set up for that.
I
don't
love guerrilla infrastructure.
I don't think any smart contractor would risk damaging their professional reputation by just going and digging up this lawn for us to install like a non-permitted, non-authorized air conditioner. But I do think it would have been amazing content.
Could you get a contractor to just dig up the lawn though? Not even tell them what it's for?
I think the Strata probably wouldn't approve that either. Like, if they won't even let you have an AC in your window, I don't think they're gonna let you just turn your lawn into a dirt pile.
What buttholes?
Because you got to remember, part of the Strata's role is landscaping and maintenance for the complex, so they're gonna notice that. So the idea
There's
was
a big hole now.
Yeah, the idea was we like get in, rip it out, put in the stuff, cover it up, and do it all in like a day.
So
we'd have to move fast.
do it overnight. Yeah.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's echo. Apparently. Suddenly Linus echo.
Are you watching? Am I watching? Is someone watching? He's looking into it.
And we didn't change anything. Oh no. What's to know? Okay.
You're good now?
Yeah, you should be good.
Okay.
now?
All
Okay.
right, cool.
All right.
Apparently Luke is fine. All right, Nate. Why don't we do some merch messages?
Yeah.
For all the super smart people who send merch messages instead of YouTube super chats.
Speaking of, there's a promo for LTT Store.
Yes.
Right.
We should use the. Oh no, there is no banner thing because it's it's automatically applied in the checkout. And it's if you add a certain sized mouse pad, 1000 by 700 millimeters, Northern Lights desk pad, and any tote bag. You add those together to your cart, and the cart will automatically apply a discount that makes the tote bag free.
Woo!
Oh, very cool.
Can you tell we need cash flow?
You might need a LTT tote bag to put your stuff in for the LAN.
Yeah. Here's the tote bag. Got 2 different colorways and 2 different sizes. Love it.
If there are giveaway random contests at the LAN, which I expect there probably would be, I would be not surprised if most LTT merch worn at a given time was one of the sections.
Oh, that's just hacking, telling them the secrets. So it's the 1 meter by 700 millimeters size, I believe. So if you add one of those to cart and a tote bag, it is free.
The tote bag's free.
The tote bag is free. All right. Hit me, Bell.
Perfect. First quick message from Nick, because there was a lot of excitement around the backpack when we said it was in mass production. That still means it's a couple months away.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just to set expectations. But
Yeah.
First question here from Anon. I'm curious if inflation is impacting Creator Warehouse, and if you have any ideas of how to deal with it. Will you have to increase prices to cover costs?
Oh, man, you're going to make me talk about inflation again? I don't need any more hot takes here, man. All right. Is inflation impacting Creator Warehouse? Inflation is, in a nutshell, yes. I keep saying in a nutshell today. I'm like hooked on nutshells. Bottom line, yes. But is the impact as much as other industries and other businesses.
I'll be more blunt. A lot of companies are looting right now. They're blaming a lot of it on inflation, and they're massively ramping up prices and taking the biggest profit margins they have ever taken and calling it inflation.
Yes. Yes, inflation is affecting us. We have had costs rise. Logistics costs have gone up significantly in the last couple of years. Labor costs are an interesting one because theoretically, as inflation spins out of control, labor costs are supposed to go up. But my understanding is that real salary growth has actually not been that much. With that said, our salaries do grow, so that's not any different for us. I think that Luke can attest to that he doesn't get paid the same as he did 9 years ago, which is probably good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Bell gets paid the same as he did. When did you start, Bell? 2 years ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. I'm pretty sure you don't get paid the same as you did when you started. So, like, yes, labor costs are going up. But the thing is that I think inflation's getting used as a boogeyman, as someone to blame for costs going up because,
look that way while I shove all the money in my bag.
Yeah, like let's say, like an apple, for example, the cost of an apple. Sorry, how does this go up? Okay, so the farm laborers might get paid more, but
that's good.
And the truckers might get paid more. Fuel costs are going up, but the fuel
bad.
costs are only going up because the companies that produce fuel decided to raise the costs. The truckers are... Actually, I don't even know. Has there been... Okay, I mean, I'd love to hear from you guys. Has there been significant movement in the trucking industry in terms of like real world actual salaries? Farmhands, are you guys getting paid a ton more? In the grand scheme of thing, the actual cost of that apple on the shelf, like how much of that was actual labor in the first place? And if it wasn't labor, how is it inflating? What does that even mean? How did the land cost more now to like sit there? Land prices are going up, but a lot of that is just exploitative, speculative investment. That's not inflation. So basically it's complicated.
Yeah.
And yes, our costs are going up, just like anyone's costs are going up right now, but not enough that we have actually had to significantly adjust our pricing up until this point.
But you might eventually. Like it might impact something at some time.
We might have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But it won't be because we just decided to take more profit. Actually, our margins have been very consistent pretty much since we started. We take about 100 points. So you can assume that our costs are somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 65%, and the more expensive the item, typically the less actual percentage profit we tend to take on it. So that's why that doesn't just center on 50%. That's why it could be lower. Like we rely on high margin, low ASP, low average sell price items like water bottles or cable ties to help subsidize how much more difficult it is for us as a small company to do bigger ticket items like hoodies, screwdrivers, backpacks, things like that. So that's typically what we target. And that might sound like a lot for us to sell something for $50 that we spend $25 on, but that is gross margins. That does not include the people who designed it. That does not include customer service. That does not include transactional overhead. That doesn't include R&D for future products. Like Creator Warehouse isn't a crazy money printing machine. And that is pretty reasonable for gross margins for like clothing items, consumer goods, that sort of thing. So there you go.
From Carter, with gas prices rising the way they are, do you expect the market will accelerate towards electric vehicles? If so, do you think that could lead to another shortage of components?
Materials needed to make electric vehicles. The world is having a hard time producing enough of said materials.
I don't think that you could make more electric vehicles today if you wanted to.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're just going to see more price gouging, more profiteering on electric vehicles.
There was a dealership that marked up. They did a dealership markup of a vehicle
This was on F-150 or F-150 Lightning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's literally
70
the price
grand.
of the vehicle.
Yeah.
They marked it up. They marked up the vehicle by the price of the vehicle. So they just doubled it because there's so much like the automotive. It's very hard to buy a car right now.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Take care of your car.
Yeah, I told you I got offered sticker for my Volt, right?
Yeah.
I have 90,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah.
And they offered me brand new sticker price for a 4 or 5-year-old car. And I'm sitting here going, well, you must have done that for a reason.
Yep.
That's insane.
There was a who was it from? I don't remember off the top of my head, but someone that I follow on Twitter made a tweet about how like their best investment over the last few years has been their car. And if you told them that when they bought it, they would have called you an idiot. Like
Me too. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, mine's gone
Absolutely
up in
crazy.
value.
Yeah.
I have driven it around. It has saved me a ton of money because it's plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
And it's apparently worth more than I paid for it.
And yeah, to be clear, I'm not even talking like best investment, like, oh, it enables me to drive to work, which is extremely important. I mean, like they made money on the sale of their vehicle. Like that's wild. Usually you're used to like people warning you like crazy, like buy used, whatever, because the second you drive it off the lot, it loses value, blah, 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 blah. And now we're in a situation where people that bought electric cars a few years ago are selling them back at a profit in some situations. So
That's nuts. I think on Brandon's Model X, he got offered near what he paid recently.
yeah, that's crazy.
Okay.
That's wild.
Speaking of, this question is from a Brandon. Hey, Linus.
Hey.
Have you never met Yvonne? Do you think LMG would still exist or have been successful?
No. No, it wouldn't have existed. It was based on Yvonne's. I owe her everything, and I mean that in not like a cheesy way, in like a literal way. I was very depressed around the time that I met her. I was doing a job that was destroying me. It was sucking the soul out of me. I was in school, which was not compatible with me. At least young me. Maybe I would have done better if I had gone back later.
Doubt it.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
Yvonne rescued me from both of them. She was the push I needed to go against what my family wanted and drop out of school and start my job at the computer store. So that was, first of all, I exist today. Thanks, Yvonne. Number two, I'm not saying I would have killed myself, but it was a thought. And maybe something else would have pushed me over the edge. I don't know.
And to be clear, because I think some people might not get this, I think you got it. My comment about you not doing better at school wasn't because I think you're dumb. You're not made for that.
I really don't think I'm made for it.
Yeah, like it's just
I love to learn.
yes,
but
not in that environment
on
though.
my terms.
Yeah. You're not made for that. It would not have gone well. It's just yeah.
So she got me out of school. She got me out of a job I hated into an industry that I loved. Then, when it was time to make the decision to leave NCIX and set out on my own, I use the word on my own extremely loosely here because it was on my own, but with like serious backup. You know what I mean? You know those you know what, it doesn't come to mind in a way that's eloquent. But the point is that the only reason I was able to start Linus Media Group was that Yvonne, with her job at the pharmacy, was taking her pharmacy paychecks and writing them out to Luke and Ed and our operating costs. That was it. We were literally just paying Luke and Ed out of Yvonne's pharmacist salary. I also had the confidence to set out on my own because I knew that no matter what happened, we wouldn't be unable to pay the mortgage, right? We wouldn't lose our home, which was really important because we had a small child, right? We had our infant son. So
Loud boy.
yeah, so Yvonne in the early days in particular was working to generate the capital we needed to run the business day to day, raising our child because I was raising our other child, Linus Media Group Incorporated, and doing all of our finances and accounting and like negotiations with all of our business administration stuff, like getting business licenses and insurance and all that kind of stuff. So she was literally working 3 jobs while she was while she was also taking care of, the man-child that she married for some reason.
That was a very motivating house. I remember when I stayed up for like 3 days or whatever and had just like peanut butter and crackers and tested the 700 series graphics cards.
Yeah.
And it felt like not necessarily more than what was happening in the rest of the house. I was like, this is crazy.
So if I had somehow managed to start LMG, like if I had lucked my way into working at NCIX, starting the YouTube channel, and setting out on my actual own, would it have been as successful? The answer is no. Yvonne has pushed me at every stage to be more organized, to take a more structured approach, to build the business properly and do it responsibly. There you go.
From James, given the infrastructure and facilities you've built, do you see a future for LMG as a production company that could bring in small or newer creators into the LMG family to benefit from your editors, equipment, or expertise?
I'm going to give you the blunt answer. There's no money in it. Sorry. That's just the way it is. I mean, we'd love to, we'd love to, like, what would it even look like, right? I remember reaching out to a relatively small creator at the time.
If there is money in it, it's like almost abusive. So you don't really want to do it anyways.
Yeah, you're basically an MCN at that point.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh yeah, there was an early creator. There was a creator in our earlier days that I just loved, who was super small on the platform, and I was like, hey, we have this sponsor selling infrastructure. We have admin. We have a lot of knowledge about how to succeed on the platform. This guy's hilarious and amazing. And maybe if he didn't have to like support himself in other ways, he could focus more on YouTube and we could make this make sense. Killian experience, still love his content. And we basically like chatted a little bit and came to the conclusion, I basically approached saying I have no idea what this would even look like. And I think we came to the conclusion that it just didn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's never made sense again.
We sort of talked about kind of why earlier in the show as well. You can do it with an iPhone. And the editing that is needed, like there's some small channels that grow in no small part because they're fantastic editors and they use their editing to make their content really, really, really cool. But if your content's really cool, in a lot of situations, all you need to do is just cut it together. It's not that crazy.
So,
yeah. Of course, you can make it better if you hire an editor eventually, whatever, but you can get started without one.
Yeah, and I do think that there are advantages to working within an organization like ours. If I didn't, we wouldn't have people working here, obviously. But have you ever gotten to the point where you're already crushing it as an indie content creator? There has to be a really special synergy. I hate to use that frickin' business lingo. There has to be a really special synergy to make it make sense for both parties, because either there's nothing in it for you because I'm sapping all your profits, or there's nothing in it for me because you're basically just an indie content creator eating my food, sleeping in my bed, and using my toilet. Like, why are you here? So
yeah.
There has to be some kind of symbiotic relationship that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or either one of us ends up being a parasite. All right. What's next?
This is a good segue. Hi, Linus and Luke. Are there any new potential Floatplane creators that you're excited about? Also, does Floatplane contact specific creators, or do they always approach you?
We've done both. There actually are some cool content creators that I want to pull on Floatplane right now that have reached out.
With what time?
Right now we have a little bit of a staffing issue that I don't want to get into too much because it involves some like personal information stuff. But there's some development work on Floatplane that cannot be done right now due to a staffing issue that we are solving. It will get resolved. And there's a couple things that we want to implement that would serve current creators on the platform that we have told them we are going to do, and we are going to do, and are mostly done, but need to be implemented and can't be right now due to said staffing issue. And I want to solve those before we bring more on. And that will be done, and then we will bring more content creators on. Again, there are some in the, I don't know what I would call it, it's not a queue, but there are some that have reached out that are really exciting, and I want to bring on, and I think it'll be really cool, and it'll happen, just not this second.
Slow burn.
Yeah.
McNugget says, one day I want to hear Yvonne tell us why she stuck with Linus for such a long time. Sounds like a very risky venture. How do you know I'm not really good at sex?
At the very least, you're efficient. You have 3 kids.
Why did I put this down again?
Oh, man.
The worst part of that laugh is that as someone who had a room across the hallway from us,
I wasn't going to mention it.
he's probably the only one other than Yvonne who would actually know.
All right. Composure.
I have no segue for this question, unfortunately. But from Cody, what do you think of 3D printed homes?
Seems cool. Seems like probably there are more efficient ways to do it for now, but maybe someday it'll be cool.
There's some problems with it as far as my understanding, because usually they just make completely solid cement walls. So like wiring and ducting and things like that are complicated and stuff. But yeah, cool concept. Excited to see it develop over time.
From Alex, what do you think of iPad OS's floating windows or anything that was announced at WWDC?
I haven't watched the announcement. I didn't even watch our video yet. I will.
Neither have I.
The truth is, like, that ecosystem, no amount of floating window or new icon pack is going to make that ecosystem make sense for me. I use my computer for gaming. I like rolling my own crap via like Plex and like having a home server and stuff. I just, Apple would need to seriously change its approach and attitude to even begin to court me as a customer.
Yeah, like core parts of it.
Yeah. Like if Apple took a run at Framework in terms of disclosure, I'm invested in Framework, in terms of, repairability of their devices, you got my attention. But they're not. They just keep pulling the same crap over and over and over and over again. And we just keep lying down and taking it over and over and over and over again. So there's no one to blame but ourselves, like consumers, I mean.
Well, they did announce gaming on Mac with 2 examples, No Man's Sky and Resident Evil Village. Neither look like they run great. But gaming is coming to Mac.
Gaming's not coming to Mac. Gaming has always been on the Mac. They just
It's just-
forgot.
Oh yeah, it's just always been like almost no games. Like Blizzard had a lot of
No,
support
there
back
has
in the
not
day.
always been no games. Back in the 90s, gaming
yeah,
on
I
Mac
didn't
was
even know.
freaking huge.
Yeah,
And Apple just
makes sense.
crapped on it.
Original. What
They
was
just
it?
got too cool for games. And the irony of it, is
Marathon or something?
they spent so much of their marketing resources on branding the PC as boring and for business when they were cool and for entertainment. What the Apple? Like why?
Yeah, like Bungie, company that went on to make Halo and then Destiny and stuff. If I remember correctly, they originally were an Apple essentially only game developer. Their first game I think was Marathon. I believe it was called Marathon.
It's baffling, man. Like there's old keynotes where you see Steve Jobs talking about how amazing gaming is on the Mac. Like they just only care about money. That's why gaming is such a huge focus for them on iPad and iPhone, because that's where they can profit from the microtransactions. That's why they don't give about Mac.
They should they should
What?
they should have just made their own store like Steam.
Well, they have their own store.
They should have just made their own game store on Mac.
Yeah, they could, but the problem was that with the Mac, if they clawed back the ability to just install .dmgs from anywhere, users would revolt. It's just that we accept it on iOS because, well, it's for our security. It's for our own well-being. Apple's taking care of us. Sorry, there's a whole thing. Poor Jonathan Horst wrote
Huh?
in here about the WWDC 2022 announcements.
Oh,
Why don't we talk a little bit about
there's probably okay.
M2 is better and more efficient, has a more powerful GPU, still Thunderbolt 3/USB 4, same graphs as ever. I feel like he's gotten so much more cynical about Apple since he started working
I really
here.
think so. Redesigned MacBook Air. It looks like a much thinner, fanless MacBook Pro with MagSafe 3 and a notch. No ProMotion or XDR, but brighter at 500 nits. 10-bit display, 1080p webcam. M2 processor still only supports one external display. Price around $1,200.
Okay, software stuff. Pick your faves, it says. iOS 6 has a more customizable lock screen. Cool. Can I put my icons wherever I want on my home screen?
No.
No? Okay.
Dang.
Well, why yourself then? Because that's really stupid.
Yep.
Like, it's just, you got to imagine it. You got to imagine the meeting where every once in a while someone brings this up like, hey, should we like finally do that? And it's like, no, there must be some stupid, just asinine philosophical reason for not doing it. Ugh.
Yeah.
Metal 3. Oh,
I
with
did-
Metal
I did-
FX upscaling.
I will say, actually, someone sent me a bunch of tweets after the last WAN show where we talked about that,
Yeah.
and we showed both our phones about how our home screens are clear. There is some weird kind of janky way to sort of do
Yeah,
it.
you can put an invisible icon
Yeah.
down, I think.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's really stupid.
But I think it's cool that you thought about that and did that. It's just stupid that that's what you have to do.
But yeah, Metal 3 has like DLSS, Fidelity FX style like upscaling now, which is cool. Cross-platform features and services. You can mark as unread in iMessage. iMessage didn't support mark as unread.
Speaking of security things, there's a new feature on watchOS 9, medication reminders and logging. Scan your drug, schedule it, and be alerted of any potential bad drug interactions.
Oh, that sounds like a liability nightmare, but that's a cool
It
feature.
sure does sound like a liability nightmare.
Yeah. Oof. Huh.
It does sound like a cool feature, but like, dang.
Like a very cool feature, but if I was Apple, there is no way.
I wouldn't want to hold that information.
Well, I don't even mean that. I
At
mean,
all.
I mean, screening for drug interactions. What if they get it wrong?
Being like responsible for that?
Yeah.
Spooky. Very
Like,
spooky.
drug interactions are a big deal. macOS 13 lets virtual machines run apps via Rosetta, and non-Apple SoCs can unofficially run Rosetta too, which is pretty cool because it means that you could use Apple's Rosetta on like a Snapdragon machine and run x86
funky.
applications.
Cool.
Yeah. That wasn't talked about during WWDC, but it's pretty freaking cool. Anthony put this in. There's a whole bunch of super technical stuff here that I'm sure we'll get into in more detail when we actually make a video about it, but it is not this day. I had a falling tree ask on YouTube, why are we doing shorts? Here's the message. I enjoyed the original video, but I'm not a fan of you guys advocating for this short video format that YouTube has been so desperately trying to push. Don't treat your fan base like idiots. There are so many super talented people in this community. Okay, I was with you up until the beginning. Yes, YouTube is pushing it super hard, and you don't have to be a fan of it, but uploading short form content is not treating our audience like idiots, and there are lots of perfectly talented people, I don't understand what that had to do with anything, that do enjoy short form content. This is honestly feeling like, for part of our community, a bit like an old man yells at cloud moment
Absolutely.
here, because I don't personally prefer them either. But you can't ignore that there is an enormous appetite for this content and that it doesn't have to be bad. Just because something has really punchy editing and a lot of text on the screen does not mean that it does not contain good information. And I got to show you guys, like, we would be insane at this point to not take advantage of the way that YouTube pushes shorts. Also, if you need evidence that you are in the minority in terms of hating it, the numbers are right here. YouTube doesn't show you these ratios anymore, but particularly the ones that are successful are hovering right around that average like-dislike ratio for the channel, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 97 high percent. Also, like, these view counts are crazy. We literally squeezed another 3 million views out of turning our 12900 KS IHS to copper. Like, it's content we were already making anyway. Look, we got another 4 million views of exposure for that super cool VR glove project. Like, at the end of the day, our job is to light fires, right? Light fires of technology passion. And if this is what it takes, putting some silly text on the screen in order to reach a new audience, in order to reach 3 million more people, well, so what? I don't know.
I'm not against shorts at all. I
don't like them.
I find them more digestible when I'm on my phone because it's rare that I'm going to be on my phone in a situation where I want to watch like a 10-minute long video or something like that. So if I just want to like see a couple things really quick, I might check out shorts. I just full transparency, I literally don't know if I've ever watched an LTT short. So like, I don't know, but
Some
like
of them have done pretty well.
the short there's some that have done extremely well. I've looked at that. I just don't think I've necessarily watched them because usually I just watch the whole video if I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that I like to consume that type of content.
Sure.
But I'm not like against shorts as a concept, and they're not difficult to dodge. YouTube communicates quite well that it's a short video. Just don't click on it. Click on something else. And then YouTube will honestly probably learn you to a certain degree and not recommend it to you as much. It's not really that big of a deal. This isn't the fight that you want to fight because you're going to lose. Like, just figure it out. Find a way to navigate the space.
So yeah, it is what it is, and I do not make the rules. This is a don't hate the player, hate the game moment, guys, here, because the second you start to slip on YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
you are just one more small stumble from the valley of irrelevance.
And it's happened
Over and over and over. And you know what's funny is one of my favorite examples to point to of people who used to be huge on the platform and just faded away into absolutely nothing. Ray William Johnson has actually experienced a huge resurgence,
Really?
courtesy of dun 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 dun,
shorts.
shorts. He's freaking like kind of big again.
No
Look at
way.
this. He's uploading like daily, getting anywhere from 1 million to 3 million views a video.
Whoa, no
Freaking,
way.
where Ray William freaking Johnson is back.
No way. That's crazy.
I know, right? It's nuts.
Interesting. I didn't really watch him back in the day, but he was huge.
Yeah, he was literally the biggest YouTuber on the platform, like
Yeah.
by a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's cool.
What else do we have? So why are we doing shorts? Because shorts are a thing.
Yep. They're here to stay.
Man, what else we got here? Wow, there's freaking a lot of stuff that we actually like didn't. Oh, we really got to talk about this. Ivan's Ukraine charity GPU auction.
Yes.
Whatever the Titan XP raises will go towards this. Let's go ahead.
What is it?
Oh, wait. Is this? Oh, okay. So for people who wanted more detail about the exact project that we're funding, apparently the amount was so much that they were able to like put together a specific project rather than just
That's
general
awesome.
funding.
That's very cool.
So this is the project. That's pretty neat. Top-down estimate for this project is 20,000 euro, including running costs for 6 months. So massive shout out our community, by the way, for helping out with that.
Is there any way for people to just donate to this directly instead of buying the GPUs?
I do not know. That's a good question. Belle, do you know anything about that?
I believe I can get a link and put it in the descriptions.
Anyway, it's all going to SOS Children's Villages,
Or maybe
Ukraine.
just look that up.
And they're dedicated to helping war orphans and vulnerable children in general. They operate in 136 countries. We've still got a few auctions you guys can check out. So
Yeah.
we've got the Star Wars Special Edition Titan XP. This is a very rare GPU. Super cool piece of Ivan's collection. And then there's a handful of other ones. Are those in the description for the video already, Belle?
They sure are.
They sure are. All right, fantastic.
Awesome.
So you guys can check those out down there. So far, we've raised $8,000, and I already announced before, but LMG is matching the community's bids on these GPUs. So thank you very much for that, you guys. Really excited to be able to help out in the ways that we can from so far away. Money, pretty much. Do we have any more merch messages?
We do. We have one more from Robert. Any new products you can talk about coming to the LTT store?
I don't think so.
Probably nothing I can talk about.
That's what. Yeah. There's new products.
Jacob B says the cap broke on a single drop and leaks water even before the break. You can contact customer service about that. You don't need to buy a new lid. We like stand behind our products. You should contact customer service if you have a problem. Just want to say that, Jacob. There's still time to cancel your order. Contact customer service. They'll get you taken care of. Any new products coming that I can talk about? We have shorts. Like shorts. We have shorts coming. We have a bathing suit coming that looks super cool.
Nice.
Hopefully it will be in time for summer. Otherwise we'll be totally off season.
Otherwise, you'll be able to have it for next summer.
Yeah, otherwise it'll be another like SWAC it WAN hoodie situation where we're finally flush with stock and it's like, oh, it's really hot. Cool. Hoodies. That's okay, we'll sell them in the fall. Oh man, what else is coming down the pipe? Oh, paper notebooks. I think we're announcing those next week, so that's super cool.
I still like notebooks. I've always liked notebooks.
Yeah, dog. Ours are super cute. They have like a graphic on them, so they look like a tablet. They have a little home button on the bottom and like a little like bezel. So you're writing your caveman notes on a tablet looking thing. Sarah designed it.
That's cool.
I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else is coming. Socks are not coming anytime soon. I just have not
Do
found.
the shorts have zipper pockets?
I would have to check for you. We have multiple shorts. We have sweat shorts coming. We have other more different shorts coming. We have swim shorts coming. So I don't know. I have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that the end of the show?
Oh man.
Oh, Donald asks, have you considered a black oxide coating on the screwdriver shaft? That would not look that great. That's what we use on the bits, and as you can see, it comes off. So it's a good point that it's a super resilient coating, but that should go to show you that doing a coating on it is just not going to work. That's why we've gone with a raw metal look. Any plans on pool tech? Yes. Bell, feel free to be a little bit more liberal in terms of pushing things through, as long as it's something we haven't addressed before. Then feel free to curate it, because there's a couple here I could have talked about, I think. The pool tech one, I had a really interesting conversation this morning about.
Is this the thing?
Big brain. My brain went from this big to this big and then this big.
Like the Grinch, but with brains.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea was we dump the heat from the pool, from the server room and from the solar panels into the pool. So we were trying to figure out, okay, how do we deal with that? Because you're going to have like pool water circulating, which has chlorine in it. So we were like, okay, we could get a titanium heat exchanger, stick that on the side of the house. Then you have a loop going back to the server room or up to the solar panels or whatever. So the hot side, and then you have a cold side going into this heat exchanger, and that runs to the pool. So you heat the cold side and you heat the pool with that. And then you got so independent loops, right? Then I was looking through our video ideas, our video tracker, and I had an idea in there that was cool a PC with a lake. Like if you have lakefront property or like oceanfront property or whatever, just like huck a giant heatsink into the water, trench some tubes into your house, and cool your PC with that. And I went, the pool. I should just submerge the heat exchanger so we don't have to deal with pumping pool water, because I was all worried about like hair getting stuck in and leaves getting pulled into the heat exchanger and stuff, like filtering it, like blah. Now it has to be tied into the whole pool system itself instead of just being a simple loop. So I was like, oh, we could do a little alcove, put some little bars in front of it, just have like a radiator freaking in the wall of the pool. Then my brain grew 3 sizes that day.
Oh my.
And I thought, wait, in-floor radiant heating, but the opposite. You do like a geothermal loop style thing, right? Or an in-floor radiant loop, which is usually more like this style, in the walls of the pool. They haven't shot the concrete yet.
It's still possible.
So on Monday, we are going to shoot a video about the plan to use like in-floor tubing in the like woven into the rebar of the pool frame and running that back to the server room to heat the pool. It's going to be freaking awesome.
It's pretty sweet. By the way, there's a Floatplane comment about this. I saw this happening and I made a mental note
Yeah.
to make some notes about it and talk about it on WAN show, and I forgot, so I did not make the notes about it, so I don't want to say things, I'm going to get things wrong. But the Actman had his channel permanently demonetized on YouTube for some reasons that I didn't make notes on, so I don't remember.
My problem with this is I haven't had time to really look into it.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't fully understand the situation.
Me neither.
So I didn't want to come in guns blazing because
Yeah.
that's how I get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
But on the surface, it looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. But exact same situation. I meant to dive into it more, and I didn't. I had a bit of a crazy week, so I did not dive into it enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the surface it looks bad. So maybe look into it because it seems like if it is as bad as it seems,
Yeah.
that he does need support.
Yes.
So
El Willow asks, kind of have a feeling this wouldn't be as efficient as a heat exchanger. Any HVAC specialist? So we don't need HVAC. There's no HVAC. It's just water being pumped up to solar panels where they're heated by the sun and then warmed and carried in an insulated tube under the ground into the pool. And then into the walls where the heat has to go somewhere, right? It can't go up. It can't go down because these are thin walls, right? Heat is going to take the quickest path of least resistance, right? The outside of the concrete is insulated, so we should lose less heat that way. So it has to go somewhere. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, so it will go into the water, where it will be lost to the surrounding area. The heat has to go into the water ultimately, most of it. And there's no HVAC involved. There's no compressed gases or anything like that. So it's pretty simple actually.
by the way, people are asking for a Jasco update.
Oh, we shot the video. We shot the updates to the video today. I believe that video is coming out like imminently. So we're already
It's coming.
2+ hours into the show. We'll just wait for the video for that.
Cool. Also, there was on the dock, I see 2 mini unboxings. 2X mini unboxings.
We'll do that another time.
Okay.
Is concrete thermally conductive enough for that to be effective? I mean, think about it this way. Is dirt thermally conductive enough for geothermal to be effective? Apparently. I guess if you got enough of it, is concrete thermally conductive enough to be effective for in-floor heating? Apparently, because people do it all over the world. So to be clear, I haven't done the math, but I'm also not inventing a new wheel here. Like, this is a wheel that completely exists. All I'm doing is I'm taking a principle that already exists, which is putting plastic tubing coils or lines into concrete and then running hot water through it and radiating it out. There you go. El Willow says HVAC stands for heat ventilation and AC, which as a whole cover what you want to do. You're technically correct, but I think the way most people tend to use it is talking like ACs, heat pumps, furnaces, not just like running a water loop in the ground. I mean, yeah, you know what? From like an engineering standpoint, you're right. We should probably have an HVAC contractor involved. But it's pretty simple. I have heat over here, and then I need to carry it over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right.
The best kind of correct, indeed. I'm just checking Floatplane comments, seeing if there's anything. I mean, by this point in the video, people haven't tuned out already. They're gonna sit here and watch me read Floatplane comments, right? No,
Probably.
I'm kidding, guys. You're wonderful.
Probably.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.
Brought to you by Squarespace, Vulture, and XSplit.